Hi guys, I want to talk today about a very interesting topic that pertains to feminism and the origins of men and how to find your ancestry and a lot of things that are, I just mind-blowing. And after I've been researching and, looking into a lot of metaphysical seminars online from a lot of great metaphysical teachers, I have a lot of questions that I would like to see if anybody knows the answer to, or maybe the question is the answer. And let me start off by saying that I know the origins of, the feminists and how the Nazis created them and stuff like that, but what I do see is that there's just two forms of feminism. The one that is really hateful towards men, and then there's the one that wants to have justice for women, just like back in ancient Kemet. Back in ancient times, women had the same rights as men, as to own land, to rule, and in many other things that we don't even know about. And I do believe that, the other form of feminism is that we want to be acknowledged, we want to be honored, we want to be respected. And it always gets misinterpreted as this man hater, this person that just can't stand being around, the male gender. And it's just totally not true, because I have no interest in being a leader. I really don't. I'd rather give my hat to a man, to lead the way. But if he's gonna turn that energy against me, then of course I'm gonna stand up and I'm gonna have to take the hat myself and lead, which is what I'm doing. But back to this, I have a couple of questions to ask in regards to the metaphysics of the human origin. And what it is that, and one of my questions is, if you can't trace your ancestry through men, because the male gender can only hold that DNA code for such a long time till it then disappears or just dissipates in the air, and you just can't trace your ancestry through your father. You cannot. So you have to trace it through your mother, because the mother is the womb, is the material, all right? And the father is the spirit, the sperm. He's the one that donates the sperm, and the woman is the one that has the egg, which is the material aspect. So how come we name our child the last name of the man? Why not the woman? So you could trace yourself back in history and you could claim land. See, that's something that I'm totally completely confused about the situation. And another thing is, we even completely disregarded the fact that, she spent 9 months with pain and, and nurturing this child inside and giving birth, which is very dangerous. She could die in that process of giving birth. And here we are giving this title to the man. We totally lost it there, and this is probably why we cannot trace, what planet we originally came from or what star system, because we cannot know who we are. We cannot know who we are by naming our last name to a man. It's just not possible. This is not his realm. His realm is not this one. His realm is the spirit world. It's not the material world. And here's another thing just doesn't make any sense. A lot of these spiritual metaphysical teachers, they compare the ratio from the sun to the planets. For every man there should be a lot of women, because there's one sun and there's a lot of planets, and the planets are the feminine aspect. But at the same time, they're saying that they come from Sirius, and Sirius is a 2-star system. There's 2 stars. And there's other systems that we don't know that might have more than 1 star. So automatically it doesn't add up. You know what I mean? It just doesn't add up. And also another analogy is that there's only one bee queen, if I'm correct, and then there's a bunch of males, and they keep dying off, and they feed her because that's the only way that they continue their lifespan. So these are just things that you have to take into consideration. And if you look into ancient Egypt, you're going to see a bunch of bees on the walls, and you're also going to see Asat in back of Asar or Haru, and her feathers are, you know, behind him, and he's the leader, but she's the one that actually makes the last cut. She's the one that actually decides. However, he puts his face forward. So these are things that you have to really look at, you know. Another thing is that I never understood was, how come in some religions we have that men could have more than one wife? I mean, if you really look deep into the metaphysics of sex, you would see that men could only ejaculate one time every 20 minutes. However, the woman has an unlimited amount of orgasms. That means she could just keep going forever and ever. And the older she gets, the more excited she gets. However, the man goes downward and he spirals down because throughout his youth, he has lost control over himself. And he has spilled a lot of semen. And by doing that, and semen is spirit, he's actually eliminating his chi by doing that. He's killing himself off. Women could actually kill the man doing that. And this is like the Seekers of Tao. I've read these kinds of books and I was like, oh my God, that's why the Chinese, they hold their seats. So why would they put in certain religions that men could have more than one wife? It takes him 2 months to recuperate that semen that he lost for one time. If he doesn't recuperate that semen, what happens is that he starts to lose his brain matter, because semen comes from the spinal fluid. All right. And if he doesn't send that semen up to its brain, he will start to deteriorate. And that's the case with men. And that's why women last longer than men. That's why you see like a 7-year-old woman and man dies at 50 for prostate cancer. You see what I mean? And I mean, it could be achieved that he could live 200 years old. I mean, he shouldn't be dying that young. He could live 200 years old, like Yang Xing Li, I think that's his name. He lived to be like 200 years old, and he had like 55. He succeeded 55 wives because he was able to hold his seed, his sheep. He was able to hold his seed in the sheep. But modern society teaches you have to ejaculate every day. You know, they put like these billboards, and then you just can't control your kundalini, and then you just go everywhere, and then the next thing you know, you're losing your hair, because that's the first sign of an unhealthy person. You know, when a person gets cancer, they lose their hair. You know, with chemotherapy or without, or it doesn't have to be cancer, but it could be another disease. You start to molt. You know, whenever I get ill, I start to lose my hair. So, same with men. You see a lot of men with bald spots because they've been, you know, they've been at it for so long. You know, and here's another thing: how come women have to wear, you know, cover their breasts? I mean, ancient Egypt, the women did not cover their breasts, you know. But however, they cover the women's breasts here because they could sell porn. They could exploit the woman. They could make money out of it. Pimps could make money out of males, could make money out of women. And women are fed up. We are already in we're already in another century. We're already in another digit. We're in the 2 digit. The 2 digit is a feminine number. It's not a masculine number. The 1 digit, all right, the 1990, 1980, the 19, the 1 that starts, that's a 1 digit. That's the sun. That is a male energy. That's a patriarchal energy. And that's caused a lot of trouble. Now we're in number 2, which is the lunar energy. We're in the female energy. This is why you see a lot of females rising to their power. This is why you see a lot of wars going on with female, and they just don't want to be suppressed anymore. They're tired. And if you are a man that understands this and you are totally with this, you're like, you know what, I'm going to support them, because hey, you know, if I support them, I'm supporting myself. I am the guardian of the Holy Grail. I am the protector of the Holy Grail. This is my duty as an emperor, what I came here to do. Then you will understand that and you will succeed this cycle. But if you don't, you're going to get brushed off this cycle, because this cycle is not for you. All right, it's kind of like the menses of a woman when she's like menstruating. She's just then doing a cleansing. That's just like the earth. The earth is a feminine planet. Just cleansing. So if you're not vibrating right with this energy, then you're just going to get cleaned off. You know what I mean? We're just recovering. We, the women, are just recovering our birthright. We're recovering what we missed all this time. We're recovering what we've been denied all this time. Another thing is that a lot of men say, you know, why doesn't she stop wearing makeup and pick up a book? You know, or why doesn't she stop showing her, you know, behind and, you know, learn something new and speak some intellect? And these are the same men that I asked, well, it's probably because the same men that were too busy giving attention to your mother's behind, they missed the librarian. All right. And, you know, it's as above, so below. That's the laws of Mayat. You know, whatever question you ask is whatever answer you will receive, you know? So right there and then, that tells you the answer. You're giving attention to the wrong person. You're feeding the wrong plant. And if you feed the plant's going to grow. If you stop feeding it, it's not going to grow. So if you stop selling porn like you're supposed to, maybe women will start getting smarter. But of course, it's not convenient, right? It's not very convenient for women to get smarter for some weak men. Because if the woman is strong for a weak man, then his ego just won't allow that. But if it's a secure and strong man that knows who he is, then he doesn't mind he doesn't mind having an intellectual female counterpart to coexist with him. That's what he wants, because he knows that there's going to be a strong team and it's going to create a strong and, you know, very intelligent child. So I think this is why they say these kind of things, because they feel somewhat inferior, and I could understand, you know, because this is not their realm. This is not their realm. This is material. This is not spirit. And if you really look at the Kabbalion, the emperor is the first one to lose his memory and his mind. All right, and we could see that around. They totally lost memory of where they came from, which is the yoni, the vagina. This energy is not about man hating, or no. We're just bringing into light what has been in darkness all these years. You know, we're trying to bring back that pristine civilization which erected these huge monuments, pyramids, and temples. We want to go to that level. We don't want to be in this level of false technology, like, you know, junk technology. Little cell phones here. We want to go to that level. And if we don't change the paradigm that we're in, that umbrella, that patriarchal umbrella of suppressing and ego and insecurity, then we're going to keep living in that. And that's not what this whole paradigm is about. This whole new cycle is about. This whole new cycle is about change. And there's going to be a lot of pain. There's going to be a lot of havoc. There's going to be a lot of transformation. But it's got to be done. You know, that's how you break a cycle. You know, 13 is not a very it's a very powerful number. It's not for the, you know, lighthearted. Another thing I wanted to mention is that women could create without the man. They have a sac of semen behind the past ovarian that was found. This is how the analogy of baby Jesus being born by Mary, who was a virgin. All right, and it's straight off from the Bible, but they're not going to tell you this. This is like the secret of Freemasonry. The compass and the square equals the yoni. It's the matrix. It's the vortex of which you come in and out. And the man is just a spirit, and the woman is the maternal, it's the material realm. And this is why they don't want women in Freemasonry, because if we know this, we could claim back our name and our land, and we could trace our ancestry, we will gain power. They don't want that. They want to keep you a slave under an umbrella of control. That's what it is, the elitist.